13 million low income are included and 9 million more are expected. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to give you an update on something that has been happening since April of 2023, and it has so far impacted over 13 million low income people all across the country, and 9 million more are expected over the coming weeks and months. This is something that's very important, and again, I do want to bring it to your attention right here in the video because it is impacting a lot of people who are low income, and this is a big deal that I certainly want to bring to your attention because if this is not applied to you yet, it's likely going to be coming, and therefore we want to avoid this actually impacting you in a negative way. So I want to help you out in any way that I possibly can. Let's get into it and talk through the details of what's going on and what you need to watch for over the coming days, weeks, and months. Really fast before we do, thanks for joining me. If you have not done so yet, make sure to do yourself a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right down below the video. It is totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, advocating on your behalf, as well as watching all the headlines, the new bills, packages, proposals, announcements, anything like that coming up that may impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, anything you can possibly grab and or take advantage of, including but not limited to money, benefits, raises to benefits, checks, programs, stimulus checks, monthly checks, and the list goes on and on. I want to bring it to your attention immediately so you can see everything that is happening right now during this very busy time. Again, thank you so much for being here. Again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so, and share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends on social media so they can also be aware of what is actually happening right now. All right, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about what is going on. The 13 million low-income people that have already been impacted in a big way by this, and the estimates are coming out that 9 million more people will be impacted by this as well, and why I want to bring this to your attention. Now, I have not talked about this in a few months, but let me bring you an update on this because I just got done reading some more information that came out on this, and again, this is not a good situation. However, it has been happening for almost a year now. In fact, it started in April of 2023, so we're rapidly approaching a year now that this has actually been going on. So I know for a fact it has already impacted some of you here in this community. Reason being is I've seen your comments down below over the last several months here that I've talked about this a couple times, but I want to bring it to your attention yet again with the latest numbers and where we currently stand, because these numbers are surprising, and the people that are being impacted by this really probably shouldn't be being impacted because the numbers I'll share with you here in this video, and again, more on that in just a second. However, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Medicaid unwinding, which, by the way, not to be mistaken with Medicare unwinding. We're talking about Medicaid unwinding. Let me explain with you what's going on really quickly here. So way back in January of 2020, something went into play called the Public Health Emergency Declaration, which prevented states from removing people from Medicaid rolls. Now, that went on for 3 years, from January 2020 all the way until April of 2023, when President Biden and the administration removed the Public Health Emergency Declaration, which yet again allowed states to remove people from Medicaid rolls. Where during that time, that 3-year period of time, an extra 20 million people enrolled in Medicaid, and the rolls went all the way up to 93 million people that were currently on Medicaid during that time. Previously, the numbers before the Public Health Emergency Declaration went into play was about 70 million people. So it was about 23 million more people on Medicaid. Well, as a result of that, over the last, call it nearly a year now, from April 2023 until now, we have seen 13 million people disenrolled from Medicaid as a result of this. So basically, they're calling it the Medicaid unwinding. In other words, that's just basically a nice way of saying, hey, we're starting to remove people from Medicaid who may not be eligible and who may not have been eligible for the last few years here. Now, here's what's interesting about it. You heard me just say a second ago, they're removing people, 13 million people they've taken off of Medicaid because they find them to be ineligible for Medicaid services, okay? However, let me explain to you some other details here because I've seen this down below in the comment section, and let me share with you the numbers here as far as the statistics on this and what I just got done reading about it. Here's what they found. 70% of people that are being removed from Medicaid right now are actually being removed because of lack of paperwork. In other words, paperwork was not filled out properly. Paperwork was not returned in its entirety. In other words, let's just say there's 4 pieces of paper, maybe only 3 pieces of paper were returned back to the office. Therefore, the people are being removed from the Medicaid rolls. Medicaid rolls, okay? So as a result of that, 70% of these 13 million people should not have been removed in the first place, which, by the way, 70% of 13 million is, what is that? 7.21 million people. So call it that much. About 7.2 million people of the 13 million people should not have been removed from Medicaid in the first place. Okay, that's a lot of people. Okay, what is that math on that? Like 5.8 million people out of the 13 million actually were removed for legitimate reasons. The other 7.2 million people should not have been removed in the first place, okay? So the whole point behind this is a lot of people are being, disrupted by this whole thing. A lot of people are being impacted who are low income and enrolled in Medicaid when really they probably shouldn't be because of all these numbers right here, okay? However, let me explain what's going on here over the coming days, weeks, and months. Guess what they're still doing? They're still removing people from Medicaid rolls, okay? What are they expecting? They're expecting this 13 million number to balloon by another 9 million, up to about 24 million people in total are likely going to be removed from Medicaid. Remember, when I said this just a minute ago, right? So prior to the public health emergency declaration going into play, there were about 70 million people enrolled in Medicaid. It went up from 70 million over about a 3-year period of time, from 70 million up to 93 million. Now they're expecting it to go back down to about that 70 million number, basically with this Medicaid unwinding, okay? So they're basically removing about 24 million people according to the statistics and according to the estimates here over the coming days, weeks, and months. We're at 13 million. That means another 9 million more people who are low income and relying on Medicaid that are likely going to be removed over the coming days, weeks, and months, okay? That's pretty important stuff. Now, like I said before, I have talked about this before because this has been something that continues to, it continues to develop over the coming time here as we continue to move forward in the future. However, I know a lot of you here in the community have already received paperwork or some type of communication from your local area or like from your state saying, hey, you need to fill out this paperwork, okay? I know a lot of you have already received that. However, if you have not, please be aware of it because you're likely going to be getting it at some point. Make sure, if you can, fill it out in its entirety and make sure to send it all back, okay? Now, there are a handful of states out there that are doing this electronically, but most states are doing this by paper, okay? So you're getting some kind of, communication in your mailbox, and you'll be getting that, and then you have to fill it out and send it all back. So basically what this is doing is just making sure that you're still eligible for Medicaid when they go around and process all this paperwork, okay? So, yeah, and again, remember, the statistics are showing 70% of people are being removed for basically no reason other than the fact that the paperwork was not filled out in its entirety or because it was not fully submitted back. That's pretty important. That's 70% of people. That's a lot of people that should not have been removed in the first place. So be very aware of this. Again, I know I've talked about it before. It's been a couple months now since I brought you the latest updates. But yeah, this is a big number that we're sitting at right now. However, this is, a little more than 50%. Actually, it's about, what is the math? I don't know, about 57, 58, maybe 60% of people total that are likely going to be removed, okay? So this is a lot more to go here, unfortunately, okay? So anyway, I want to bring the details to you this really quickly. Of course, I'll continue watching this. I'll bring you another update, I don't know, maybe a couple months here or something like that when I find more information on this, but it's kind of surprising. I thought for sure they would have done something about this by now, but they've done nothing. Huge surprise, right? They've done nothing to help the people out during this time. So there you go. This is what they're doing right now. And again, I want to bring this to your attention so you can stay posted on what's actually going on. So anyway, watch for any type of paperwork. If you have not received it yet, just be aware you likely will be, and just do what you can to fill that out in its entirety and get all that back to them. So anyway, just want to help you out in any way that I can. Again, I'm not here to scare anybody, but rather I want to bring this to your attention to really emphasize how important this really is, because if you don't do it, guess what? You're probably going to be removed from Medicaid, right? So anyway, to me, I feel like that's probably pretty important, and you probably want to pay attention to that. Anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on my social media. Go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. And that's about it. Enjoy. Leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. And until next time, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.